on IEEE. So I have to finish meditation session within that and start the IEEE session. Okay, coming back to, so we have completed the 8th chapter. We have to go to 9th chapter. So let me open that. And before that, today morning I had a very interesting experience. I think I had shared some time ago also, not this experience, but something to do with deep sleep, what happens. But today was a very nice event. So before that event, let me ask you, what is your knowledge on Brahman? What do you think Brahman is?
Kalatita, Gunatita, highest supreme power.
Okay.
Energy.
No, but what does that really mean? That is,
energy, it's the highest form of energy. There is nothing beyond, and because of which everything happens.
Okay, but then
but he is not doing it, but because of which everything happens.
Fine, but then how would you experience? If that is how it is, but in life, how will you experience? Or how do you know that you are going to experience it one day or the other? Because you are in search of that.
I think when we are connected with the Laukika, when all that Laukika, we have desire to enjoy that Laukika. I think whatever is in our mind, that enjoyment so-called, once that is over, then we are in the neutral. And the neutral we have to turn into Adhyatmika. And without having any Laukika connection, then the point where we reach end goal is Adhyatma, end goal is this.
But then how would you experience? How would you go on experience? Or would you ever experience it?
I think the experience is only Atmananda, and this body, this mind cannot experience Brahmananda.
Correct, that is true. But then why are we in search of something which you cannot experience?
Because that is ultimate. When you are already there, it's like Mahat. When you are already there, you yourself is that. And that is the source of everything. The enjoyment is also a desire. So we are going above that enjoyment level. Because and is everything. Whatever you think, it is already there, but without any gunas. That is experiential at a different plane, I can say. It is not the experience from the sense of our mind and this body. It's much beyond kind of experience.
Okay.
It is completely jnanam. I think that's maybe the right word. Complete knowledge. Complete knowledge is nothing called experience. It is knowledge.
Right. Fine.
So for me, I'll just tell you what I feel. If I consider my mind like a lake, if any thought coming, going doesn't cause any ripple there, then I have reached that state. Because always it will cause a ripple, and it is still causing a ripple. How much it is causing is different. From in this journey, from earlier to now, it is different. But then when a day comes wherein I don't feel happy, sad, or anything, I don't feel connection or feel disconnected, nothing I feel, that feelingless state. That means when the thought comes, there is no ripple in the mind. That I will call it as a Brahmananda state.
Okay, good definition. What about the other two?
Yeah, so there is no difference between you and the others. It is, that division is disappeared, and that's when if you are able to be in that state is what Brahman is. There's no division and there is no, what do you say, hierarchification.
Correct.
So you see everything um, as you only, or it's same, everything, including all that bird, insect, everything you have to feel as, you may feel as is you. And it's just a kind of all these, what do you say, all these bodies, different kinds of bodies are just expressing that Brahman. So I think you will experience it like that.
That is correct. Okay, so that is right also. What about Sri Hari?
Yes, in my view, the Satchit Ananda, the ultimate bliss, is Brahman.
No, but how do you experience that?
Once we establish ourselves within the Nirvikalpa Samadhi and then get rid of the Savikalpa Samadhi and then get rid of the idol through which we established there, then I think we can experience. I have not experienced it yet.
Okay, no worries. But do you know that you experience it every day? That state, whatever you are defining, is there right now. Or at least you will experience it in a given day within 24 hours. Have you ever thought? No matter whatever is the compulsion, whatever is the situation, you will experience it every day. There is not even one being, be it a bird or an insect or human or anyone, who doesn't experience this Brahman every day. What do you think? Am I exaggerating or is it false? Is it true?
I'm just thinking.
Okay, think.
So in my view, yes,
Following
we will be experiencing it when we are in the deep sleep state. Only thing is we don't have the awareness of that.
Yes, that is correct.
It's like we don't have instrument to experience that.
No, that is Brahman. Like Padma Shri said, in a deep sleep, there is no you.
Yes.
And that is Brahman. There's no other thing called Brahman.
Yeah. If you are also engrossed in something, that time also you are not there.
No, your thoughts still exist or your mind still exists. So here in the dissolution state of deep sleep, the mind is not there.
Yeah, correct.
Even if a little bit mind comes up, then it brings in dreams. So let us say you are in deep sleep and the bladder is full and you have to urinate, and then suddenly the thought starts appearing, and then there will be some fear thoughts or some see this thought or that thought, and that will make the mind to come up and it goes to the restroom. But if that were not to be there, then there is no disturbance. And that's a
But
reason.
who makes that happen? That when the bladder is full, for example, as mind is not there, the body is sleeping. What wakes it up? What brings the mind back?
Very good question. I expected this question from at least one of you. What brings it up? Now here is the problem. So the eternalist believed that the God brings it up, and the nihilist believed that body brings it up. Even today, that is what is the belief. The eternalistic view, which talks about God being there and God is the controller of everything, believes that God brings it up. And those people who are materialistic or intellectual and they don't have any sense of God, they believe body is what brings it up. But actually, the mind brings it up. it's not either the God way or the body way. It is the chitta which has the consciousness also in that, brings it up based upon what is happening in the body. Because that is the feeler, and that is the thinker, that is the perceiver. All the three is the mind. It uses the Atma for its energy, but then it itself is an instrument, but it itself has the knowledge. So mind is forerunner of everything.
Yeah, but it is sleeping, right? It is not there. So what wakes up the mind?
What wakes up is the chittas are in a state called as bhavanga. That is, they are in a neutral state of being, which is like your electricity meter. The nearest example I can give you is that the electricity meter, which you are not using power, but still will be running, right? Slowly it will be running. But there is no power drawn. But still, minimum whatever should run is running. So the house is totally not using any power. But still that electric meter will be running. Similarly, this mind has two things. One is the thoughts which come out of the chitta, one is just the chitta. So when the mind goes to sleep, the thought state goes to sleep, becomes thoughtless. And it becomes thoughtless because it gets out of the five senses. So there is no grasping or there is no identification with the senses. Now when the urination thing is happening, the consciousness is running throughout the body and also throughout the mind. That is the chitta. So when any changes happens in the body based upon how it should be dealt with, this is where the prakriti comes into existence, and nobody can define how it is known, how the prakriti knows that the bladder is full. So that's the reason it is called as prakriti niyama. And that is the sole reason why prakriti is also called as ananta, just like purusha. So there is no way you can know this mechanism, how the blood still will be flowing and how the urination bladder will get filled up and how this is done. As long as the energy exists in the body, this movement is going to happen. Anyway, coming back to this scenario, the chitta, which uses the chit, is already aware of what is happening. So it wakes up the mind. The chitta, which is also part of the same mind, in that instrument called as mind, one of that is chitta. That wakes up the other part of the mind, which is intellect, ahankara, and the experiencer, in this case, the body experience. So it comes up through thoughts. So first it brings out thoughts and it itself will react to those thoughts and then wakes up. Wakes up in the sense that it opens up its eyes. There is no person opening up the eye. That eye gets opened up because of these different kind of sensory motions happening, and all these sensory motions are controlled by the brain. So the brain sends an impulse to the mind because mind is connected to the brain, and then the mind is in the into the hridaya, where you have, we call that as heart region. So in the physical heart, this other heart is also there, and that is what Narayana Sukta talks about. So the Narayana is sitting there, meaning the energy is sitting there and it is monitoring everything that is happening. So this consciousness informs the mind, and mind comes up, it informs the brain, and brain then starts to process, makes the body move. So this is the process. You can really watch it in action if you were to drop 5 senses. Right now, if you were to do it, you will exactly experience what happens in deep sleep, but while awake. You can see this whole movement happening. That is the mind going to sleep, the brain and other physical apparatus going to sleep, and you are in deep sleep, even though you are very wide awake. You can do it right now. And that is Brahman experience. To a limited degree, if you don't have any sense at all, like in the deep sleep state, and that is ignorance, because we don't even know how it happened, and only when the mind comes up it feels fresh, because mind was not there, so there was no energy consumed, so it feels fresh. So if somebody were to be asked, what were you doing, he says that I went to a great sleep, I slept like a rock, no idea what happened, and when I woke up I was so happy. And that is Sat Chit Ananda. That's all what we are searching for. If we were able to do this in the morning or in any time of the day, you are always in Ananda. That is Atmananda. When the senses are totally dislodged from the sense objects, you gain the insight of Atmananda. And when the senses and sense objects and all perceptions are no longer accessible, including the relationships, then you are in Brahmananda. That's all what it is.
Can you just explain again the step-by-step process?
Okay, I will do that right away. See, first step is to observe your deep sleep. How do you go to deep sleep? Don't think, because if you think, you'll not be able to sleep. In the night, if you try to doing this, you'll never sleep.
Yes.
Because you exist. Nanu hodare hodenu. That's all you need to apply. If you go, then you will attain. Okay, now how do I do that? In the night when I go to deep sleep, it is ignorance, avidya. I don't know that only consciousness is there and nothing else is there. Okay, and consciousness is treated permanent, but it is not. It is dependent on the condition. The condition is that you still have the ayu, that is the life. So even though the mind is dead in the night, the body and the mind is existing and it is nurtured by the consciousness. This is the first learning you need to get into, or we need to see how this whole thing works. So you go to sleep, then dream state happens, and then the deep sleep state happens. So first it loses the body consciousness, then it loses the mind consciousness, and it loses itself. This is what happens in a sleep. Okay, now let's come to waking state, which becomes turiya if we were to experience this right now. What you need to do is to dislodge the senses with the sense objects. Now, how do I dislodge the senses through sense object? Now, that is what the whole Viveka Chudamani is all about. And also about Buddha teaching, it is all about dislodging the senses and sense object. Now, when we master this dislodging the senses and sense object, a very funny thing happens to you, that you will not be able to recognize in the sense of identification of anything, whatever it is. Example, how I do it, I'll tell you, maybe you can see what really works out for you. Now, when there is sight, something to see, what is there to see is the question. So in the night, what is that I'm seeing? In deep sleep, nothing. Shunya. So what is there in the sight? Actually, Shunya. Now the consciousness connects the eye with the sight. And depending upon the interest in the mind, in the chitta, either I will like it or I will dislike it. What if I don't dislike and like it? Just like the deep sleep state, where there is no liking, there is no disliking. You can't say that the sight is not there in the night and the object is not there in the night. They both are there, but they are not connected by the consciousness. So you don't have any sensory perception of seeing. Can I do it right now? Yes, possible. This is the meditation what I need to do. What kind of meditation technique I'm going to use is separate, but this is the meditation I need to use. Then sound. It is not my sound, it is just the sound. So what I need to do is, just like in the night, there are sounds which are coming and there are dogs howling, there are motorcycles going and other things are happening. The ear is still there, but in deep sleep, none of that is heard. So that means this is possible in daytime as well. This is the meditation I need to do. Then smell. Is just because I'm sleeping doesn't mean that the smell has gone and there is nothing to smell. The consciousness is not connecting the nose with the smell. Same thing with the tongue and the tasting. And then same thing with body and the touch. And same thing with the mind and the thoughts. So all the six are dislodged in the deep sleep state. So can I not do it in the waking time? Certainly yes. But technique is different. I can use Shankara technique, I can use Buddha technique, I can use some other technique. But technique is there and that can be done. That means the confidence here is, if I were to mimic what happens in the deep sleep state, in the waking state, then I can go into Turiya state without any problem. What is Turiya? Turiya is a state when the senses and the sense object don't meet. I go one step further. Is there any relationship in the deep sleep, like wife and son and daughter and my home and my money, my disease and this my and that my? No. Can I drop it off right now? Yes. If I can close my eyes and drop it off, I don't exist. Because this my is with relation to I. If there is no I, there is no my. And hence there is no wife. And hence there is no daughter, there is no son, there is no home. There is nothing there. So then with whom am I attracted to? Nothing. To whom am I repelled by? Nothing. And to whom I'm going to say that I exist? Nothing. So all the three are no longer accessible. That means I've got rid of raga, dvesha, moha. Raga was attraction to something, dvesha was repulsion to something, and moha is I exist. So I have eliminated this raga, dvesha and moha. So what should I experience? Whatever was experienced in the deep sleep, I can experience right now. Now can I stay in that state? Yes, I can stay. What happens then? The mind will lose itself, so the mind goes to sleep. If the mind goes to sleep, then the vak, that is, which thinks and puts that language into practice, is gone. And with that being gone, the body sensations are gone. It goes to deep sleep, so the heartbeat also stops. With no breath and no heartbeat, I have mimicked death in waking. if I can do that much, I don't exist, because all of these are required for this equipment to exist. Now I am in Purna. That is no difference between outside and inside. It's all the same. It's pure Brahman. So it is all pervading in all directions. There is no duality, there is nothing there. So this is the process which can bring, you see, this is the morning experience of mine in walk. So it brings that experience. And it can be demonstrated.
But see, this is possible when you are sitting in a stable place, because you don't have to move the body.
Yes.
You can forget, and also mind also, with a lot of practice, you can bring it to some level, and then you can enter there. But while walking, because you have to spend your energy for walking, because you need to be aware what's
Yes.
happening in front
Yes,
of you.
so I can be only in Atmananda. I cannot get into Brahmananda. So with this experience, I can be in Atmananda, fully blissful state.
But your attention will go while walking on the road about the vehicles, a dog, and so many things around you. People will come and greet you.
No, I'm talking about a terrace.
Terrace. Okay.
I have not still started walking on the road.
You have, with no disturbance, just walking. Okay.
Yeah. Let us say if I were to mimic this with people and trees and all that, if I don't identify.
If you don't identify, then yes, you're already.
See, you've seen a lot of people, right? They will be thinking on a lot of things, and even if they were to move in front of you, even if you say, even if you wish them, they'll not reply.
Yeah, correct. They're in deep some thinking, yes.
Yeah, because they're lost. So where is the consciousness? Yes. Where is the consciousness now? The consciousness is in
they're
the
lost
thought.
in something in some other topic. Yeah, correct.
Exactly. So now what has happened? Their consciousness is there in the body, but also there in the thought. So it has removed itself. It has withdrawn from the other five senses.
So what is important is we should know how to withdraw whenever we want.
Yes, we are withdrawing involuntarily. You should be able to withdraw it voluntarily.
Correct.
And when the withdrawal of voluntary happens, you are always in Atmananda.
Shouldn't you be always in the state of withdrawal? Meaning it should not affect you at all.
Yes, that is how.
Thoughts,
yes,
it should be, right? Yes. Not going into the withdrawal state.
No, there is nothing like going. You should be always in that, because that is the real state. That is the actual state. The real.
See,
yeah, go ahead.
See, when you have full energy, a blissful kind of energy already in, you can do a lot of good things like this. See, imagine a case that you are in a classroom and the lecture is terribly boring, but you cannot come out. Such situations we have experienced during our college days, school days. And then you go to a level of withdrawal, but you are getting into a sleep because no energy there.
No, that isn't.
Because of the missing energy, because you have no energy to listen to that person. And then you are going to, it's a withdrawal, but you are going to sleep there.
No, that is how this misunderstanding happens. It is like this. In the state of Atmananda, you are in full awareness.
Full awareness, okay.
Because you don't have liking and disliking. In ignorance, you will go to sleep.
That is ignorance. This is, got it. Yeah. Here you're full. That means each and everything is sensed by you, Atmananda.
Yes, and not only that, whatever
but
that lecturer
withdrawn from Panchendriyas.
Correct. Whatever the lecturer is saying is completely grasped by you.
Correct.
Because you don't have any bias.
Yes, as is. Yes.
Yes. So another very fascinating thing to watch. We call something as boredom, right?
Yeah.
What is boredom?
Not interested.
But Brahman is not interested, actually. Correct?
You are going to that ignorant stage.
But we don't want it. None of us want to get bored. But we are in
We
search.
always fixate in different thoughts. Not fixating in any thought is the thoughtless state.
Correct.
We always fixate in any thought. Even when we are in the class and when we are not listening to the professor or whatever is going on there, the reason is our thoughts are moving somewhere, meaning we are fixating in something else.
Correct.
That is why we feel. So boredom is not replacing with some other thought. Boredom, meaning this thoughtless state is what we need to attain for Brahmananda. Not getting ourselves involved in another thought or fixating in another thought.
That is correct, Padmashri. But the thing is, we use that word boredom because the mind is sluggish. It is really going slow. So when the mind goes slow, it wants something exciting. And not able to find anything exciting, it doesn't know what to do. So either it has to get sluggish and slow down and sleep, or it has to go into a restless mode. These are the two modes which is available for the mind. But we are in search of same thing called boredom, because na karta na bhokta. So it doesn't do anything by its own. So the ignorance here is that you require excitement. The bliss is not having anything at all.
So for ignorance, no effort required. It will go naturally to that stage. It's
Yes.
called tamasika stage.
Correct.
But with the effort, what you reach is nothing but
Sattva.
sattvic or this
Correct.
stage.
Correct. Very correct. You come into sattva.
Now you tell me you are very tired physically.
Hmm.
You need sleep for doing anything.
Hmm.
But how can you during that time bring yoga nidra?
You just observe the breath. The mind goes to sleep.
Really, that satisfies this need of our charging our body, mind.
1 hour of yoga nidra is equivalent to 6 hours of sleep, or at least 5 hours of sleep, if not 6. Meaning, what you need to do is you need to mentally start looking at your toes and leg and keep on dropping them off, that as though they are not yours. So now I've given up the leg and the knee and the joints and the the back and all of that, and including the head. Okay, now you can do it right now. As I say, try doing it. You see how much fresh all the 4 of you would be. Now we'll start from the head. Okay, now head. Remove all the hairs on the head, whether you are a male or a female. Give it off, donate it. It's not yours. Then look at the skull shining, or your not skull, your head shining without hair. Now keep on doing that for the face, ears, nose, tongue, all of these you give it up. Think that for now it is not yours. Now you see that top region has become very light because you don't own it now. Now come to your neck region and give that off. Then come to the body, the front of the body, give it off, all the flesh related to that, back. Okay, then spinal cord, then however you are sitting, and come to the thighs, give that off, knees, then to the leg and to the feet and the toes. What you need to do is now you remove all the flesh and donate it to every given being in this universe, because it's coming from the food and that is getting developed like this. Now you say that with this I am giving off all the attachments to this flesh. Now what you are left out is only the bone. Now watch as though you are a heap of bone, starting from the skull, and you don't have eyes now, so you have hole where eyes once stood. There is no ear. There's a hole in the ear. Now nose, there's just a hole, two holes, and then you look at your mouth, there is no any flesh there, so you will see the teeth, and teeth are held to the bone, and then look at the jaw, the way it was with flesh and without flesh, it looks flat. Okay, and there is just a spinal cord starting from the head region and till the end of the spine, and you see your chest, it is now filled with the bone, and the stomach region is totally empty. Okay, and you have the ribs below, there is nothing. Then at one time you had the private part, now it doesn't look anything except for a hole there. And you have the pelvic bone, and below that are your thighs. Once stood, now it is just the femur bone connecting this pelvic to the knee. It's just joints of the bone. Now you look at your knee, it is again bone. There are three bones there. On top there is another bone which is covering that up, and goes down, it's just a thick bone. And then you have the feet, which is again part of the bones, and the toes are also bone. The hand is also, if you really see where the shoulder stood once, the arm stood once, and the finger stood once, it's all now pieces of bone. Now what we can do is donate this bone to every being you find. So you say that this bone is neither me anyway, it will anyway will get destroyed, so now I'm giving it off. Now you're left with nothing, but you still exist. Just be in that moment for 5 minutes. Now there are no senses either. You can't sense anything. It's as good as going to deep sleep. Now try to give up yourself completely. There is no you. There is no you in sight, there is no you in sound, there is no you in touch, there is no you in thought, there is no you in smell, there is no you in taste. And the same thing, there is no I or you in eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and the mind. Now let us collect back the bones, which are totally fresh, and all the sins and everything are gone. Let it be fresh. Let I not do any sinful act using these bones. So now you have all the bones. Now you're going to feel slightly heavy because of these bones getting attached. Now let's bring back the flesh in each and every part of the body. Again, they are disease free because you have donated all that you had. Now have this bone and flesh attached to this mental body, Karana Sharira, and the Sukshma Sharira. So now it is going to feel as you were feeling earlier, but then it is fully fresh. Now try to feel from your feet to the head. As soon as you inhale, you are inhaling from the toe to the head, and if you are exhaling from the head to the toe. Your body and mind is completely calmed down. Now you can be back. And let's see what the experience was before and after. You don't want to come out of this state?
I'm back.
Okay.
My experience is I could reach to that your guided meditation quickly compared to my 1 year back. Very quickly I could reach. And then I was observing myself about the breathe, that I could hear that breathe. It is like as if people are breathing during deep sleep. That kind of breath I could observe. And when I came, and it was a very nice feel, blissful feel. When came out of this, and I felt like as if I am, early morning when you wake up, you get a feel energy. That way I got some experience.
Good.
But I was thinking that this is recorded for about 20 minutes or 30 minutes.
No.
Time is short. Yeah.
With just 5 minutes you can have it. And you can do it at any time, but let us say between two meetings, you have 5 minutes. You can put an alarm and do this for 5 minutes.
Yes, I think so. I should do that. Yeah, this is good way. I was discussing yesterday with Lata that how to implement these things. Yeah, that's a good idea. Whenever you get that break in between,
yes,
use for 5 or 10 minutes with alarm. Yes.
The only difference here between this and the other is that in this you are donating yourself, which is dana. Basically, if you donate yourself, the consciousness will take care of everything.
We can also do just forget, right? Instead of donation, forget about that part. Like in the deep sleep, what happens?
No, that is happening out of ignorance. This you are doing it purposefully. So you try forgetting it, you will never be able to forget. This is because we are caught up in body and mind. So except for donation, this is not going to work. Try it out. I have no problem. I don't know about others. They are still there in that state or they've come back.
Oh, all of us are here only. We didn't go anywhere.
No, I know you never went anywhere. I thought you are still in that blissful state.
No, this is too fast for me. So whatever you said was too fast. So I just reached the calm state.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay. Yeah, because I wanted to do this in 5 minutes.
Yeah. So that is too fast for me. So I think I just reached that calm state only.
Okay. But it is, if you look at it, it will be looking like you just now slept and came back.
Yeah, that is true. So I was actually, here it is very hot. So I was feeling very hot. Now I feel cool. So that is there.
Yeah.
So, but not that blissful state and all that I did not reach.
Yeah.
And I always felt that I exist.
Yes. So that for that to happen, we need to do this for 45 minutes.
Yeah, correct.
Minimum. 1 hour is good. If we could do it together, it will be nice. Yeah,
but this is good. Trying to mimic the deep sleep.
Yes.
That I can try sometime.
Yes, you can do it in between your meetings, in between whatever you get time. Just you can donate, but don't forget to donate.
Yeah. This is what you have told me to heal my leg that time.
Yes. If we donate the body completely of its attachment and also mind of its attachment, then you get a fresh set of body. We don't want to donate because, yeah, go ahead.
So if you donate, really that it goes and then it becomes the new stuff or that we are imagining.
No. It is true. Try it out. This is something you have to try it out. You will feel real fresh. Let us say you were having headache. Okay.
Donate to whom, Vilas?
Donate to all the beings.
All the beings.
Don't own anything. Let us say I have headache. Okay. Now I donate including the headache to all beings, including the bone, and just sit. After some time I collect back all the bones and flesh. Not my bones and my flesh. No. Just the bone and the flesh. It doesn't matter whose it is. It is just like you have offered the prasad to God, right? And when you take it back, doesn't it sweet good? You just see, you have been doing that at home. So we go to a temple and we take the prasad. That prasad is first offered to the God. And they smell it and take it. Same thing is happening here. Your body is made out of the same material which is there in the plant. So you're donating everything away. So you get a fresh set. From whom and how, don't worry about it. It happens. And your headache is gone. Or whatever ache is there is also gone. Try it.
So this ache and all went to some other beings, or
No, don't worry about whom it went or how it got cured. It will get cured. Now this is the problem. Now who took it and why did he take it with pain? All that is again intellectual story. Don't worry about that.
okay.
See, okay, think it in this way, Lata. You have these flies. So there are these fruit flies and glad flies and all kind of flies, and they come and take food. It can be sometime that they take the phlegm which has fallen or sweat or whatever it is. Why should I be bothered about what it is eating?
But Vilas, now when we are practicing like this, suppose we see something that, okay, somebody requires a kidney. Do you think we will be able to go and give it?
No.
We should be able to go and give it, right? It is, see, in our thoughts, we are donating it to all beings. When we see some paper or somebody tells us, forget about whether we match or not, that's at a later stage. Even the thought that we should go and give it, will that come?
It will come. So there are two things which will happen, Padma Shri. First of all, good question. So it will happen. What really happens is if we practice this donation thing, you will not have any attachment to your own body. So it will automatically make you donate to whoever wants a kidney or a heart or lungs or whatever it is. Without attachment.
It is not, most often it is not the attachment you have to your kidney, it is more about the future, meaning if something happens to me, will the people who are dependent on me having problems? See, generally it is not the attachment to the kidney,
that is
kidney because Victor.
No, that is because of somebody you are attached, right? But there is an attachment.
So,
No,
what I am saying is that attachment is given, it is not the attachment to your kidney that you are having, right?
So it's not about...
The state will remain. No, what I'm saying is the state will remain, that somebody is dependent on you, he will still remain. Even after all these kind of training the mind, that state will remain. Will I be able to cut that thought that somebody is dependent on me?
That also will go. Try it out. Because in the deep sleep, that is what is happening. There is nothing like somebody is dependent on you. Even in deep sleep, you should feel that somebody is dependent on you, or that person should feel.
No, that is true. That is true. What you're saying is true, Vilas. What I'm saying is, with this kind of a practice, will we attain is what I'm saying.
Yes.
Deep sleep is ignorance. And one more thing is, once we leave the body also, after that there is no way that there might be 100 people dependent on you, but still you're not there, that's all.
Correct.
But then the only thing is, when you are alive and when you are in the full awareness, whether those kinds of thoughts come to you. When not when you are free, when you're in a circumstance, when you're in a situation, whether those kinds of thoughts will come.
No, those kinds of thoughts will not come, because now not only this, we will be practicing the giving up on the five senses and five sense object. With that, the thought also will go away. So you can get into Turiya state or the fourth state or whatever it is called as, like this. You want bliss, you will get bliss. Simple. because you don't exist. At least you will get Atmananda for sure. So, how was your experience, Padmashri?
No, no, I felt a state of calmness, but I did not completely. I couldn't go through that fact of I'm donating it to somebody and all that. Thought didn't. Though you were telling it, I couldn't think of it like that.
Okay, okay, no worries. Shriyari?
Because my thought process went off in this direction. That is why this question comes.
Okay, okay, no worries, no problem.
Yes, Vilas, I was able to feel that not to the donation part, but at least the calm and pleasantness was there.
Okay. So you could achieve this, at least a calm state, in 5 minutes. That is good.
Yes, yes.
My feeling was because of you have conducted this on many times in RBA layout.
Yes,
Same
yes,
thing.
I have done that.
Because when you say you donate, that is something slightly initially tough to understand.
Yes, so actually we don't want to give up. See, basically, why are we scared about disease? Because it is going to eliminate you from the samsara. Or every one of us, including me. So, if I donate it, the fear is gone. I'm voluntarily donating it off. Because this body is not mine actually, it is coming from the plant. It is not that I am building anything. In fact, I'm just eating. The remaining thing is happening automatically. It is not that I am there to do some processing of the food and making it something and eliminating it or keeping it or thinking how much to keep. Shall I keep it for tomorrow or day for tomorrow? What all I should be doing? That is not happening. The body does things by itself. Now, who does it, how it happens, that is secondary. But am I really required to do this? Am I really doing it? No. So, what's the point in keeping something which I don't myself do anything about it? So, it doesn't belong to me. So, I donate it. Same thing with the bone. It's not I have developed the bone. I don't even know how it is getting developed. It's all out of ignorance. The body is developed out of ignorance. That is, the flesh is developed out of ignorance and the bones are developed out of ignorance. So at least if I can donate this body, which is food for another being, so be it. Let it bless me with a good body. Try it out. It really works. You can't donate the mind because you have not seen the mind yet. But when we see it, we can donate the mind also, which is what happens in deep sleep. So there are no thoughts in deep sleep. So if you don't have body, you don't have mind, what are you? Pure consciousness. That's all. So there is no belongingness. There is nothing called as relation. There is nothing called as anything. There is no world. Like in the deep sleep, there is no world. You can be in no world state right now. You don't have to exist again to achieve this. It's there. The only thing we should not do is to wish for existence. What if I had to do this and that? And then that creates another life. Just be whatever it is. That's all what it is. So then we can be in this state forever. And in this state, there is no fear. Mind has fear, but you don't have fear. The real you has no fear because the real you has no attachment to anything. Just try to reflect on this and see what happens. Shall we continue? We will take the Bhagavad Gita tomorrow and we can continue on the Vijnanamaya Kosha, Viveka Chudamani. Or shall we end for today?
I am fine to continue Viveka. Viveka
Okay.
Chudamani.
Okay.
Yeah, so let us take Vijnanamaya Kosha. Then
Yeah.
stop.
Okay, sure. Good thing. Okay, so let me take out that book. So now verse number 184 to 191, 8 of these verses are related to the intellect, Vijnanamaya. So he talks about what is buddhi. Now where is buddhi? Buddhi normally resides in the mind. Where exactly in the mind? It is inside the chitta only. There is nothing called a separate buddhi as thing. So when does a buddhi given and how does buddhi arrive? Buddhi arrives based upon karma. So some people have manda buddhi, some people have the best of the buddhi, best of the intellect, and some people have middle. I mean to say that they are average intellectual, and some people have no intellect at all. They are dumb. So some people are dumb, some people are normal, some people are extra or super intellectual people. Why? Because they can grasp much better, have a better logic. So what happens for an intellectual is that the logic and reasoning is extremely sharp. That means their viveka is to the highest. That is, they can discriminate between this and that very fast. So this is also there within the mind itself. It's not outside the mind. So depending upon the karma, which is created by the chitta, the intellect is formed accordingly. So if we see a dull-headed person, we should not make fun of that person. Reason being that that person is dull-headed due to past samskaras, and the samskaras happened because of the karma, and karma happened because of the vasana. So instead of being unhappy with that person or making fun of that person, it would be good to be very compassionate with that person. Because I have got this sharp intellect due to the fact that I was not too, what I can say, too abusive to another person about their intellect. And because of that, my intellect today is sharp. But if I were to abuse the person who doesn't have a good intellect, then karmically I will become that. So it is better not to indulge in that. Now there are normal intellect. meaning they are average and they can do their job very well to whatever is required, but their logic and reasoning is not to level what others can have or the super intellectual person can have. So again, making fun of those people who don't have a sharp intellect is not going to help. I should guard myself from not doing it. Now I have sharp intellect, but there might be people who are sharper than me because of their good karma. So I should not get into envious attitude or jealousy or something of somebody better than me. So with that, let's understand what the intellect does. Buddhihi buddhi indriyaha sardham savrittihi kartru lakshanaha vijnanamaya koshaha syat pumsaha samsaraha karanam. Now what this buddhi will do is that it brings in something called as perception. Perception is an identifier. For a dull-headed individual, his sense of perception is very poor. He cannot retain the sense of perception. For a normal person, the sense of perception is fair, what it should be. But for a supremely intelligent person, the sense of perception is very sharp. That person can penetrate. Now I'll give you an example. Some months back, I had this experience of consciousness like frame per second, which I had shared with all of you. That is coming from sharp intellect. It can perceive something which cannot be perceived by two eyes. Is it fair on my part to feel proud of that as an achievement? No. Because without that intellect, I wouldn't have been able to see it. So it is the, if I could use, it is the fruit of tapas of so many lives. To see this, how frames per second happens. And that happened due to organ of perception through the intellect sheath. That means my intellect has grown very sharp. So what it does is sardham savrittihi kartru lakshanaha, together with special thought modification, that is, it can stay separately with the chitta, gets the root idea that I am the doer. So this, what I saw, it says that you saw. So now I come and project it that I have seen it. This is what intellect problem is. I am the doer. And it itself creates. There is no person sitting there to create it. Vijnanamaya koshaha syat. These comprise the intellect sheet. Pumsaha samsara karanam. Because of this intellect, the man or the person takes birth after birth. As Manda Buddhi, Tikshna Buddhi, Sama Buddhi. Manda Buddhi, literally dumb-headed. Tikshna Buddhi, sharp intellect. Sama Buddhi, normal intellect. But it is again part of matter. It is not Purusha. So now I can use the same buddhi to liberate. by not attaching to whatever I'm seeing, whatever I'm hearing, whatever I'm tasting, whatever I'm touching, whatever I'm feeling, and whatever I'm thinking. Then only it is possible. So, verse number 185, he says, Anu vrajat chit pratibimba shakti vijnana samgnyaha prakriti vikaraha ज्ञान क्रियवान अहम इति अजस्रम देह इंद्रियादिषु अभिमान्यते वृषम. This whole thing is a reflection of consciousness. Chit. Chitta is plural. Chit is what it is. So, this is just a reflection of consciousness. Vijnana samgnyaha prakriti vikaraha. This sheath is a modification of the prakriti alone. Jnana kriyavan aham iti ajasram. It is always the knower and the doer. Deha indriyadishu abhimanyate brisham, in the respect of the body and sense organs, and is completely identified with them. This intellect identifies itself with every action done by the chit as itself. I am eating, I am smelling, I am tasting, I am touching, I am thinking, I am doing this, I am doing that, I am intelligent, I am dumb, I am going to a market, I am walking, I am talking. All this is coming from the perception which is in the intellect. And intellect is the biggest problem when used in a wrong way. Together with chit, it creates experience, which is itself experiences. There is no other person to sit and experience there. So mind alone will experience. The nature of the jiva is indicated in 186. Anadikalaha ayam aham swabhavaha jivaha samasta vyavaharaha odaha karoti karmani api purva vasanaha punyani apunyani cha tatphalani. Anadikalaha ayam aham swabhavaha. The intellect sheath is beginningless with respect to time. It has the nature of the ego. The intellect itself is the ego. There is no other thing of an ego other than itself. So the mind itself is the ego sense through the intellect. Jivaha samasta vyavaharaha odha. This individual personality or the jiva, it carries out all the activities on the relative plane of existence. Everything is relative. That is the reason Einstein got shook up when he did the theory of relativity, because everything is relative. It is depending on subjective assessment, not objective assessment. Nothing in this world can be objectified. It is only subjective reality. Karoti karmani api purva vasanaha. It performs both good and evil action according to previously gathered vasana. So vasanas create karma, karma creates samskaras, and all the three will give food to each other. Punyani apunyani chata phalani. It accumulates merits and demerits respectively as a fruit of this action. So who creates jiva? Jiva is created by Maya. And who created Maya? Maya is created by avidya. And who created avidya? Avidya was created by itself, called as avidya. So the jiva when we say I am the GV, what it means is that I am the ignorance, because there is no concept of GV at all. In a Vyavaharik plane of existence, we can say there is a GV and there is beings. But in realistic plane or the real existence, there is no thing called as a being, there is no thing called as a GV. So if we are talking, I am the Jiva and I am going to meet the Paramatma, we are talking from a Vyavaharik perspective. In actual, there is neither Paramatma plane of existence nor a GV plane of existence. It is just existence. So when intellect is taken as Jiva, that is what it is. So this intellect creates good and bad action. There is no person sitting there and doing good or bad action. So the mind alone is the doer, the mind alone is the performer, the mind alone is the feeler, the mind alone is going to go from one birth to another because of the vasanas and the karma and the samskaras which are made in the mind plane of existence. It is not the same mind which is going, but it is not a different mind also. It is not the same jiva which is going, it is not the different jiva. Both extremities are wrong. It is the one which is enjoying or suffering, moment to moment, is moving into another life. So depending upon the kind of relationship, depending upon the kind of experience, depending on the kind of the karma created either as punya or apunya, the universal buddhi, mahat, gets split off into an individual buddhi and can be manda buddhi, tikshna buddhi, sama buddhi. Now what is this jiva for? Bhunkte vichitrasu api yonishu vrajan ayati niryati adaha urdhvam ishaha asya eva vijnanamayasya jagrat swapnadi avastaha sukha dukkha bhogaha bhunkte vichitrasu api yonisu vrajan. In order to have various experiences, whatever we call as a soul is a combination of all of this, keeps wandering from to ayati niryati adha urdhvam eshaha, coming out, coming and going, sometimes adaha, down, urdhvam, up, eshaha, that being, what we call as a being, called as a jiva, which is formed out of intellect, goes down into the hell realm of existence or goes up into the heavenly realm of existence. Asya eva vijnanamayasya jagrat. To this intellect sheath alone belongs the waking state. Swapna, the avastha, sukha dukkha bhogaha, and the dream state, and it encounters them experiencing joy and sorrow and enjoying and expecting more joy and sorrow. Somebody wanted to ask a question? Okay.
No, you can go ahead.
So, whoever is experiencing or the experiencer and also interpreter, also the perceiver, feeler, all of this are in relation to the Vijnanamaya Kosha only. From Vijnanamaya Kosha, the feeling moves into the Manomaya Kosha. So the mind, which we covered as Manomaya Kosha, will feel everything. It will feel Sukha and Dukkha. Because the Vijnanamaya Kosha is saying that this is Sukha and this is Dukkha. So mind also feels Sukha and Dukkha. But Prana doesn't feel Sukha and Dukkha. Neither the Annamaya Kosha feels anything called as Sukha and Dukkha. This we need to know. So all of this Sukha and Dukkha is experiencer, is Vijnanamaya Kosha or the intellect. Nothing else. That is, the mind itself has all of these three koshas. That is Anandamaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha. All the three are there in the mind itself. It's not anything outside the mind. Okay, then 188 is the radiance of the intellect. Dehadi nishtha ashrama dharma karma guna abhimanaha satatam mama iti vijnana koshaha ayam ati prakashaha prakashita sanidhya vashat para atmanah atah bhavati esha upadi asya yat atmadhi samsarati brahmena. So this sheath of intellect is connected or belong to the body and the duties and functions of orders of life. It has the guna, triguna, abhimana, that is, it has the mana, that is vanity, and abhimana means I am the doer, I know this. So it has all the attributes. Satatam mama iti, it keeps on saying I am. Vijnana koshaha ayam ati prakashaha, the intellect sheath is extremely radiant. Prakashitaha sanidhya vashat para, due to his close proximity to the Supreme. Atmanah ata bhavati esha upadhi asya, self, but it is only a superimposition. That means Vijnanamaya Kosha to Anandamaya Kosha, they are superimpositions. They are not real. But yet has all the realities being there. Yat Atmadi Samsarati Brahmena. Rebirth is due to the deluding identifying with it. So this is what the intellect can do. We are already almost time. So we will take the next one tomorrow.
Yeah, fine. Thank you.
No problem. Or tomorrow means Monday.
Monday. Yeah.
Okay. Then.
Okay.
See you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.